yourself on to law. We know no one for the judge. You see it? Morning, Your Honor.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. All right, good morning. Is there anything that we need to take up prior to bringing in the jury?
I spoke to Mr. Dreiser this morning. I have 2 maps to enter into evidence. 8Z coming in as states 209, Mr. Hathaway?
It should be 208, I think.
208. And then 9A coming in as states 209. And they're just Google Maps.
They're both maps?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And we have no objection, but let me hand that over.
Okay. So that'll be without objection. I believe that's 8Z and then 9A. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Will be 208 and 209. Is there anything from the defense? No, Your Honor. All right, thank you. Let's bring in the jury, please. All right, thank you. Good morning. All right, welcome in, members of the jury. Everyone may be seated. All right, good morning. This is the second day of the trial. Just to remind you where we are procedurally, the state of Florida is presenting their case, and so I turn to them now to call their next witness.
Shane Jarman, Detective Jarman.
While the witness is coming forward, members of the jury, if you could answer out loud, did everyone follow the communication rules? Yes. Thank you. Good morning. All right, sir, if you please raise your right hand to be sworn in.
Detective, you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
All right, this way, sir. You may proceed.
And please the court. Please introduce yourself to the jury.
My name is Shane Jarman. I'm a police officer with the Jacksonville Beach Police Department.
How long have you been so employed?
I've been employed with them for 8.5 years.
Give the jury an idea of your experience and background that allows you to be a police officer in Jacksonville Beach, Florida.
Well, first, I was a police officer in the state of West Virginia for 7 years. And in Jacksonville Beach, I've been there for 8.5 years. I'm a patrol officer, a field training officer, defense tactics instructor, a crime scene investigator, as well as a taser instructor, drone pilot.
So I'm going to spend most of your time talking about your crime scene investigator. Is that also known as an evidence technician?
Yes, sir.
Explain to the jury what training you have that allows you to perform those functions.
So in order to become an evidence technician, you have to first express an interest in the evidence technician field. Then you attend a crime scene processing workshop, a digital photography workshop. Then you shadow the current crime scene investigators, evidence technicians for a while in order to get a good foothold. And then after that, you are released on your own in order to start processing scenes.
So is there a television program that's very popular called CSI?
There is, yes, sir.
Does that stand for Crime Scene Investigation?
It does.
How do your duties differ from those of your TV counterparts?
Massively so. They dramatize everything on TV, as you all know, and realistically, it takes forever to process a scene. It's not just within a 10-15 minute window. It takes a long time.
And do you do the testing yourself?
I do not do the testing myself. I just collect and preserve the evidence, and it's sent out for testing.
So in the TV show, so I think sometimes, the one time I've watched it, the crime scene investigators actually solve the crime and interview witnesses and do things like that?
I do not interview any witnesses. I don't do anything on the forefront. All of my job is related back on the actual pieces of physical evidence.
So when you get to a particular scene, just generally speaking, has the scene already been evaluated by detectives and first responders as to what potentially you should collect?
Yes.
Try as best you can to explain to the jury how you go about conceptualizing the processing of a scene and what you target as potentially probative forensic evidence.
So once the scene is secured, we walk through with the detectives. We try to imagine how this occurred. We try our best not to, of course, disturb any evidence. We preserve as much as we possibly can. And once we figure out how we think it happened, we look for things out of the ordinary. And those things that stick out to us, those are marked as evidence, and we do try to collect those.
I'll give you an example just to give the jury an idea that you can't collect everything. If you were working, let's say, a home invasion robbery where the victims indicate they were robbed in their home, would you go and collect their toothbrush or things from their medicine cabinet as potentially forensically relevant?
No, sir. If it's something that looks like it belongs there, and we can say with almost absolute certainty that it belongs there, we do not collect it.
When you're talking about processing a scene in Jacksonville Beach on a street, like in this particular case, are you able to collect Sanctuary Boulevard and take it back to the police station?
As much as we would like to preserve it in its entirety, we cannot do that.
Explain to the jury why photography is so important for what you do.
Well, the old saying, a picture is worth 1,000 words, it's 100% true when it comes to photography. It preserves the scene as it is. I can sit here all day long and describe those scenes to you, but when you look at a picture, that tells you the whole story right there.
And in this particular case, you were the, lead evidence technician on February 16th of 2022?
That is correct.
You processed the murder scene of Jared Bridegan?
I did, yes, sir.
Okay. And then are you working with your fellow detectives to try to determine what and how to collect things?
Yes, sir.
The jury already knows that this was a very dark scene. Did you take a video, use a video camera, I guess? It's not like a camcorder, right?
It's not a camcorder. It's our basic Nikon camera. It does have a video setting on there, and I use that.
We used to use video cameras. Now. Okay. So the first thing we're going to show is what's been entered into evidence as State's Exhibit 3. You should be able to see it on your screen. The jury knows how dark it is. The light that we see before we actually play the video, is that going to be flashlights that you or your fellow officers are holding?
That is correct. That's me, the flashlights to for the two officers next to me that were walking the scene with me.
And why do a video in addition to photographs?
Video also shows you a first-person view of the incident. I can show you a bunch of pictures, and as great as it is, seeing video live, it kind of plays it more better for everybody to fully understand what we're looking at.
Okay, we're going to play State's Exhibit 3. If there's something that you need to jump in and explain, feel free to do so.
Sir.
Officer Jarman, I guess the focus is
Focus is, yes, sir.
user error.
It was, yes, sir.
As we look out there, is that going towards Butler Boulevard?
It's going towards Sanctuary Parkway, which leads on to JTB.
Is that a detective's car?
Yes, sir.
Now, at this point, when you get to the scene, it looks like it's actually drizzling a little bit.
It is, yes, sir.
Does that play a role in your ability to collect evidence? Potentially.
Potentially, yes, sir.
And that drizzle was very light. It wasn't a heavy rain.
No, sir.
And is that a shell casing we're looking at?
Yes, sir.
Another potential shell casing?
Yes, sir.
Are those little pieces of paper things that you have put down or your fellow officers to mark those shell casings?
Yes, sir. My fellow officers put those down.
And we'll see them marked with yellow placards later?
Yes, sir.
Now you're walking northbound
Yes, sir.
on the southbound lane.
Yes, sir.
Back to where you started.
Yes, sir.
That's enough. And since we've seen the video, we're going to kind of race through these photographs just so the jury has an orientation and the record is clear as to what's been introduced. But we looked at State's Exhibit number 4 here. Is that going to be from the northbound lane photographed onto the southbound lane with the victim's vehicle?
Yes, sir.
State's Exhibit 5 is going to be on that northbound lane, but further south towards JTB.
Yes, sir.
State's Exhibit 6, you're on the southbound lane looking at the vehicle.
Yes, sir.
State's Exhibit 7, you're on the southbound lane looking at the vehicle from behind.
Yes, sir.
State's Exhibit 8, obviously it's much lighter with this. Are you using your flash to be able to lighten this area up?
Using the flash as well as we have crime scene lights that we do bring out in order to light the scene up a little bit better.
Okay, so you have your flash and a separate like spotlight.
Yes, sir.
State's Exhibit 9, we see the tire and the body.
Yes, sir.
Right, just for the record. State's Exhibit 10 is from behind the vehicle.
Yes, sir.
Just say yes. We're going through them fast, but I want
Okay.
the record to be clear as to what's in evidence. So even though we see, is this a picture in State's Exhibit 11 of the covered body?
Yes.
State's Exhibit 12, another picture of the covered body?
Yes.
Do we also see those placards 3 and 4 that indicate potential pieces of evidence?
Yes, sir.
State's Exhibit 13, have we uncovered the body and then see those placards 3 and 4?
Yes.
And do we see evidence of medical resuscitation attempts done by rescue on the victim's body?
Yes.
State's Exhibit 14 is at the victim's flip-flop,
It is.
and that's going to be marked by placard 6. placard 6, correct?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. So then we also see some pink chalk. Is that so you can do laser measurements later?
Yes.
State's Exhibit 15, is this the shell casing marked by evidence placard 1?
Yes.
State's Exhibit, did I say 15, 16? You can say,
Yes.
I shouldn't lead you every time.
I said yes. It's shell casing for placard number 2.
State's Exhibit 17,
Yes.
it is what?
It is a shell casing marked by evidence placard 3.
State's Exhibit 4,
The shell casing.
I'm sorry, evidence placard 4, State's Exhibit 18.
It is a shell casing marked by evidence placard number 4.
State's Exhibit 19, is that another picture of that flip-flop?
It is.
State's Exhibit 20 is a picture of the victim.
It is.
State's Exhibit 21 is a picture of the lower half of the victim with evidence placard 4 and 7.
Yes.
State's Exhibit 22, close-up of the victim's face.
Yes.
State's Exhibit 23 is to show the left shoulder of the victim.
Yes.
State's Exhibit 24, the shirt has been removed or lifted up from the victim to show the entry wounds.
Yes.
State's Exhibit 25 is to show the victim's left hand.
Yes.
State's Exhibit 26 to show his left hand.
Yes.
State's Exhibit 27, the victim has been rolled over on his front to show the back of his head.
Yes.
28, the victim is rolled over to show the back.
Yes.
State's Exhibit 29, do we see a placard number 9?
Yes.
Now, in later photographs, we'll see that the pockets were turned out. Was that done by evidence technicians?
No, it was
Excuse
not.
me, medical examiner.
Yes. Medical examiners are the ones who enter the pockets. We do not.
But when you got to the scene, the pockets were not turned out.
That is correct. They were in.
As depicted in States 29. And then we have placard number 9. Is that going to be a spent projectile?
Yes.
States Exhibit 30, is that a close-up of that projectile?
It is.
States Exhibit 31, is this another view looking southbound on Sanctuary?
It is.
States Exhibit 32, is this going to be evidence placard 5, which is the tire?
It is.
And then a close-up of States 33 of that tire?
It is.
States 34 is going to be the victim's vehicle with the driver's door open.
Yes.
States 35 is a view of the victim's vehicle of the back seat
It is.
and the car seat.
Yes.
States Exhibit 36 is inside the victim's vehicle. And do we see 2 particular pieces of evidence? Actually 3. One is a frosty cup from Wendy's, and then apparent blood and an apparent bullet strike.
Yes.
States Exhibit 37 are close-ups of those inside the victim's vehicle.
Yes.
States Exhibit 38, do we also see blood droplets in the driver's side door of the victim's vehicle?
Yes.
States 39 is going to be the passenger vehicle that apparently was struck by a bullet.
Yes.
States Exhibit 40, do we see a bullet strike there?
Yes.
States Exhibit 41. Now, we notice the difference between 40, which is at the scene, and 41, which is apparently at some garage. How did the vehicle get there?
It was towed by one of the wreckers on rotation on that night and escorted by Property Officer Choate to the secured property room.
So why do you further process the vehicle away from the scene?
We wanted to wait till the next day in order to see everything possible, as well as we were tired. We were like, let's take a little bit of a break, a little bit of a breather, and then come back. And we processed it there in our back lot.
Do you make sure that the car is secure, the vehicle is secure during this process?
Yes, sir.
So States Exhibit 41 is showing that you're beginning the processing at your lot in Jacksonville Beach.
That is correct.
Okay. States Exhibit 42, I guess we've already semi-seen this because we see the blood on the near the gear shift.
Yes.
States Exhibit 43, are we starting to see bullet strikes?
Those are blood spots, yes, sir.
Blood spots. You can see that with these little white placards that indicate that's where you're seeing blood. Is that correct?
That is correct.
States Exhibit 44, so it says BS4, that's going to be blood spot 4.
That is correct.
Now we see the jury can differentiate between the blood spots, which say BS, and then the placard that says 1 is going to be a bullet defect.
Yes.
And that's inside the victim's vehicle.
Yes.
States 45. States 46 is again bullet defect with the shattered passenger window.
Yes.
State's Exhibit 47 is bullet strike 2.
Yes.
State's Exhibit 48 is, I guess you have taken out part of the door to show that bullet strike?
Yes.
And why did you take out the door? Are you looking for the actual projectile?
That is correct.
State's Exhibit 49, and another shot of the door taken, the inside paneling of the door taken off so we can see the bullet defect.
Yes.
State's Exhibit 50, what'd you find?
We found a projectile inside the actual door, on the very bottom of the door.
State's Exhibit 51, is that a photograph of that?
It is.
State's Exhibit 52, placard 10, we were looking at there.
It is a projectile that was found when I was trying to open the glove box up. It just fell straight out.
So it wasn't there until you opened the glove box.
That is correct.
So it kind of fell. Does that correspond generally from that first bullet where it said number 1?
Yes.
And just visually speaking, does placard 10 and State's Exhibit 52 generally look like the same projectile found underneath the victim's body at the scene?
It does.
State's Exhibit 53, do we see that corresponding bullet defect near the glove box?
Yes.
State's Exhibit 54 is another shot of placard 10.
Yes.
State's Exhibit 55 is a close-up of that projectile.
Yes.
State's Exhibit 56, is this the tire that you recovered from the scene?
It is.
State's Exhibit 57, another photograph of that tire.
Yes.
So we have a couple things to show you. May I approach the witness, Your Honor? The first, and I guess most interesting, is going to be State's Exhibit 90. May the witness step down.
Sure.
He can.
Officer, if you would, there's a microphone there, this clip to that.
We can share too, Your Honor.
I can get it off.
I'm very familiar with the microphone.
Absolutely. Yeah, sure.
I got it. I enjoyed that wrestling. So I want to show the jury, this is State's Exhibit 90. Yeah, if you could stay there, I'll stay here.
Officer, go ahead and clip it on give him a moment.
Can you hear me? It's good? We're good?
Sounds good.
All right.
Now
Yes,
clip it on your belt. There you go.
You've done it your whole life. Good job. All right, so State's Exhibit 90, is this the tire that you recovered from the scene?
Yes, sir.
Explain to the jury how you went about processing this tire.
So once it was recovered at the scene, it was transported to the station by Officer Choate, Property Officer Choate. The next day I came in, unpackaged it, unsealed it, and I took photographs of the front side here. And when it came to processing the tire for possible DNA evidence, per our policy, I wore gloves as well as using sterilized water. And to make sure there's no further cross-contamination, we also go an extra step. We put on 2 pairs of gloves between each and every swab. So I went through almost a half a box of gloves just to process this tire.
And when you say process it to look for DNA, we see in State's Exhibit 92, it looks like a Q-tip. Explain to the jury how you use State's Exhibit 92 to process for DNA.
So first things first, once I have labeled the package the way I want it to be for whichever piece of evidence that I'm processing, I open with the package up wearing double latex gloves. I pull the Q-tip out. I put on some sterilized water from a sterile tube. I put it on the tip of the Q-tip, and I process whatever I want to process. In this case here, it was clean areas on the tire that seemed out of place for a dirty tire.
And State's Exhibit 92 is going to be from the inside of the tire, which is going to be the part of the metal that's facing the jury right now.
Yes.
And so you essentially take a I'll just turn it around like this because we have what's referred to as the valve stem. Was that an area that you thought maybe someone had touched?
Yes, the valve stem cover, the cap itself. If anybody's filled up a tire.
Ask you about the processing of the vehicle. Is one of the things that you looked for on the victim's Volkswagen Atlas that there was a potential tracking device on that vehicle?
Yes, sir.
And how did you go about searching for a tracking device?
So, first things first, I took our tablet that we use for the Oscar device, as well as for our laser mapping. I turned on the Wi-Fi signal to see if there's anything that was pinging towards the Wi-Fi. I also turned on the Bluetooth to see if there's anything like an Apple AirTag, anything of that nature that will give off a signal. I then also downloaded a tracker app, for a scanner app, that will actually detect possible trackers.
And were there any trackers that were placed on the vehicle?
No, sir. Not that I was able to find.
And was there an Apple AirTag that was on the victim's keys?
There was, yes.
And that's okay, I already asked that. That's, Ms. Stifler, anything else? That's all the questions I have here.
All right, thank you. Cross-examination.
Did you need any pictures, Mr. Dresser?
Thank you for offering. I don't think so. Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm good, sir.
Thanks for being here.
Yes, sir.
So just real simply put, you spent a lot of time collecting evidence in this case. Is that?
Yes, sir.
And you did so carefully?
Yes, sir.
And you did so that you could help all of the officers in your department, including the detectives, figure out who committed this murder, correct?
Yes, sir.
So the idea when you collect DNA is that you do it carefully.
Yes, sir.
And you do it in places where you can hope to connect that piece of evidence to a particular person.
Yes, sir.
So that later, and in this case, the jury may be able to hear that somebody's DNA was found on that tire.
Yes, sir.
And that somebody may be connected to all the other evidence that you collected.
Yes, sir.
That's the whole idea, right?
Yes, sir.
And you did that with all of your training and experience to make sure that the detectives in this case could solve this crime.
Yes, sir.
I don't have any further questions for you. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Dreiser. Any follow-up? All right, may the witness be excused.
The witness is excused for now, subject to recall.
All right, officer, do you know what that means?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you, sir. You can step down, stay in touch with the attorney. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, the state will call its next witness.
State calls Corporal Brian Wallace.
Corporal Brian Wallace, please. Good morning, Corporal. If you can walk all the way forward.
Your Honor, we're doing a little computer transfer, so we may need a minute or two.
Sure. Wait. Stand here. Raise your right hand to be sworn in.
Corporal, do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, sir, if you make your way to the witness stand. While the attorneys are getting everything situated, make sure that if you turn towards the monitor that you keep the microphone near you.
Yes,
okay? Feel comfortable.
I know how to do it. Just like you.
Good morning, Corporal.
Good morning.
Could you please introduce yourself to our jurors?
I'm Brian Wallace. I'm currently the traffic sergeant with Jacksonville Beach Police.
And how long have you been with the Jacksonville Beach Police Department?
For 15 years.
And during your time there, what positions have you held?
Started off July 11th, 2011 patrol, and then I spent about 2 years on patrol, went to the downtown Cape unit. It's the community assisted policing effort, basically downtown bar unit. I was there for about 5 years and then went to the special investigations unit in 2018, 2019, where I spent about 5 years there. And then in April 2022, I got promoted to sergeant, and now I manage the traffic unit at Jax Beach Police.
And I want to ask you a few questions about February 16th, 2022, and your involvement in the investigation into the murder of Jared Bridegan.
Sure.
Did you participate in the investigation in the capacity of collecting and putting into property surveillance, ring camera, home surveillance camera videos?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you respond to Sanctuary Boulevard South on February 16th, 2022?
I did not on the 16th.
When did you become involved with the investigation?
The very next day, February 17th, 2022, about 8 o'clock, we had a briefing in the morning, and I was in special investigations at the time, and we were in charge of canvassing the area around the shooting scene, and we all had blocks of areas where we would go canvass, knock on doors, try and find surveillance and things like that, and so that was my responsibility for a better part of the next month.
Okay. Could you give us an estimate, if you know, how many houses do you think yourself and members of Jacksonville Beach went to looking for surveillance or eyewitnesses?
Hundreds. Couple hundred-ish. Myself knocking on doors, maybe 50, 60, something like that. And
some neighborhoods in Jacksonville, when police knock on doors, people aren't all that excited to answer. Did you have any difficulties with people in this area being cooperative with your investigation?
I would say most people were pretty cooperative. There's some that, didn't really want to come to the door. They might talk to you through a screen, or they, open the door and kind of are apprehensive, not really sure why you're there. But once you tell them who you are, what you're trying to accomplish, and kind of a little bit about what's going on, they're usually pretty helpful.
How did you decide what houses that you were going to go to and see if they had surveillance?
That was started kind of at the 8 o'clock briefing on the 17th, and we, I don't know if quadrants is the right word, but just kind of areas of responsibility that I was responsible for and other members of special investigations. And so we started at the homicide scene, and then we kind of worked out from there. It was determined that we would kind of start at the scene and then work all the way up to the last known location. And so where I started was, I think it's 4089 America or 4098, one of the two. And that's at the very end of America. And abuts up right to JTB.
Okay, I'm going to show you what's been marked and entered in the evidence as State's Exhibit 209. And do you recognize this area?
That's Jacksonville Beach.
And this is a Google map of the area. Can you show us, kind of indicating, you can mark on your finger, like
Sure.
touch screen, where you began, where the homicide scene is and where you began canvassing?
Sorry. This little circle right here is the incident scene, and kind of this little stretch of area is America. And right where this X is kind of 4089 America, and that was the first house that I went to. And then after that, for the first day, I do believe it was in kind of this area, this Ocean Terrace, Grande Boulevard, Jacksonville Drive, other portions of America. And then, through the next several days and weeks, we kind of moved north on America, hit, houses on pretty much each side, kept on going up through America. Do you want me to keep going? Or just
Yes.
stop there? Okay. Yeah, then we...
No, just, I want the jury to get an idea of the
Sure.
geographic area you covered.
Sure. Sorry, I'm kind of, this is the kind of the homicide location. And then we went up through America and did a few houses on Evans Drive. There's actually like a West Wind, which is this, and East Wind. We did some houses on West Wind Drive. And then kept on going. Hit Seabreeze, which is this location right here. And then now we're getting into Fairway Lane and go up through Fairway Lane. And then it turns into 15th Street at this location. And then there's a kind of a northern portion of the map, but...
I have another portion of a map I'll show you in a
Sure.
moment. On February 17th, did you or the team with Jacksonville Beach Police have any information as to a suspect description or a vehicle description? How is it that you chose this route?
I think it was just investigative effort. You know, you start at the X, right? You start where the incident happened and you kind of work up from there. And you're trying to find some type of evidence, video of, you know, was this captured on someone's home surveillance system? And so it would make sense to start in the America Avenue because it is a pretty wooded area, right? I mean, on this location right here is woods. And then there are some houses on America. And then there's a few on, that Sanctuary way north, and then you get into Sanctuary, but it is pretty wooded, except for that area on America Avenue, 40, 67, 89, 73 houses right there.
You're following a route of what appears to be kind of, for this area at least, some of the thoroughfare streets that someone would drive. Was that intentional? Can you explain to the jury the thought process behind that?
I'm sorry, you're saying going from, like, the thought process of this route?
Yes.
Yeah, last known location, right? So he dropped off kids at the residence, which is on Marsh Inlet. It's a northern location. Okay.
And from the bottom of this map, is that the end of where we left off previously? So we see Fairway Lane here that you had circled previously.
That's correct. So Fairway Lane, then we go up, Fairway turns into 15th, it's kind of one and the same. And then we go up, and then right here, we're at Marsh Inlet, last known location.
Okay, and this pin here indicates the residence that you all had information was the last place Mr. Bridegan had been seen.
That is correct.
And that would be 1511 Marsh Inlet Court.
Correct.
In this area, where else did you canvass for video surveillance?
There's a golf course right here, so this is kind of out. A few, I don't think any houses on Marsh side went, and again, this is kind of a group effort, right? This is not all just me. There's several detectives that are doing this canvassing. And then there's some detectives did on Marsh Inlet, I think a few houses on 15th, but we tried to hit the majority, if not all of the houses on that route.
Did you gather any surveillance? Obviously, this is the golf course. Did you gather any surveillance from Cradle Creek Preserve, from Shutter Avenue, or any of these areas?
So eventually, yes, at the police department, which is kind of right here, we have some surveillance that we were able to pick up. This is Discovery School right here. Their cameras this is later in the investigation, found out that their cameras were not working. And then there's nothing. There were nothing here in the golf course. Cradle Creek's cameras were down from a previous tropical storm. I think a tree hit the pole or power outage or whatnot, and they were not operational at the time. On this route specifically, there's one house, I think it's 25 Fairway, where we were able to get some video eventually in the case, and I think that's kind of the first one where we were able to use that for, I guess, not the first video that we obtained, but one of the ones that we used.
And we're going to show the jury video compilation in a moment that you've previously seen before today, correct?
Correct.
The video they're going to see, you mentioned that this house on Fairway Lane is kind of in this particular area, one of the few cameras you were able to get surveillance of the victim's vehicle and what would eventually be identified as a suspect vehicle. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And you mentioned that there were no working cameras here at Cradle Creek.
That's correct.
No working cameras here at the Discovery School.
That's correct.
And eventually, did you obtain some video surveillance footage from this apartment complex?
Yes, we did. That's, I believe, 1712 Pablo Hamlet. This is a assisted living facility. We were able to get some video from Pablo Hamlet. And then if you go even further north of this and kind of go a little bit west, we also obtained video from 1712 Beach, which is Taco Lou. They had some exterior surveillance that was also working. So as far as up north here, if you kind of like look up here, there's Taco Lou on Beach Boulevard, and then you turn down on 15th, and we ended up getting Pablo Hamlet, and then some at the police department. That's really about, now we're getting into some public storage areas kind of in this portion of the map, and there's other areas on 9th Street where we also obtain. You want me to go into that too, or just kind of?
Sure.
Okay, yeah, so there's, if you go to this 9th Street area, this is, again, further on in the investigation. We were able to obtain some video from some Jack's Refrigeration, which is at the corner of 7th Avenue South and 9th Street. There's a home on, I think it's 882 12th Avenue South, might be 13th. We used that as well. And then I think public storage, we also had some surveillance from there. And that looks about it on this map.
Okay. So for this particular area, we know we've got surveillance here, 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 Taco which is
Lu.
up here,
Correct.
this area, and this area.
That, I believe that's correct. It might be not 12th, it might be 13th.
Sure. And just for the jury's information, it wasn't for lack of trying. You didn't skip houses along these routes or anything like that. It was just where businesses in this area or houses in this area actually had working cameras that faced the street.
Correct, working cameras. You will find that a lot of people don't pay for the subscription service, so they only have just live video feeds and things like that.
And so when you went to visit people, tell me more about that. Were there occasions where somebody had a camera in the front that you noticed, but they don't have historical footage?
Sure. A lot of people, they have cameras, but they only pay for example, I think a couple of cases that were like Google Nest, there's a free system that you get, and you get, I think, 3 hours worth of data. Everything else after that is washed. Most of the cameras now are subscription-based, so if you don't pay for the subscription, then they're not going to hold on to that data. The videos that we did find, some people have like the Lorex systems, or the ones that you would find that have like an internal terabyte or just some internal hard drive that would hold video. And those places were the ones that had historical data that was longer than, say, 3 hours, a day, a week, things like that. So it kind of varied. Some people had data for 7 days. Some people had data for longer than that. But it was not a lot, but a good portion, I would say.
In collecting this video surveillance, and I understand there were other detectives working with you, did you all make efforts to ensure that the time and date stamp on the videos you collected were correct?
Correct. There's a few that you'll see some time and dates that are incorrect, and some people just don't manage their home security system, or when they start it up, they don't change it properly, and it's not synced up, right? So Ring's usually pretty good about that, but other of those home systems that you can buy online, they're inaccurate. So there's a few, like the Pablo and Hamlet one is going to be a little off. I think it's 3551 America, which is the Slayman house. That one I think is also a little bit off, and then a few here and there are not exactly accurate, so we had to adjust for that, right? So we're using our phone to just make sure that, like, okay, what we're looking at right here, we need to do some quick cop math and find out that, this is the time that we're working within. And so sometimes we had to use that math and go back in time, and then we go, okay, this is the actual time of the video. It's not exactly the time that's in the top right, top left, wherever it is.
When you collected videos and ensured that the time and date stamp was correct, if it was not correct, did you document that in reports?
I don't remember it. I don't know if I did or somebody else might have, but it was at some point transcribed onto a piece of paper that was handed over to one of the lead detectives, and that way they knew the information that they were looking at was chronological. So they didn't see a video like, oh, this doesn't make any sense, right? So we're looking at a video that doesn't have a right timestamp, but we would inform them that, hey, this is off X number of hours, X number of minutes, just FYI for you.
So information, if a timestamp was off, that information was collected, it was relayed to detectives so that everybody was aware of the correct time for each video collected.
That's correct.
If you saw a camera on a house and nobody answered the door, did you all make multiple efforts to go back and retrieve video?
That's correct. I think if you look at my first supplement, you'll see that there's several houses that I went to that I didn't, nobody answered the door, and which was, kind of common. It's during the day, people go to work, and so we went back, or at least I did, and all the other detectives, I'm sure you can ask them, but the additional supplements were follow-ups where I went back to the houses that we didn't have any, no contact with, right? So whether there were cameras or not, I went back, and if a second time they didn't have, they didn't answer or they weren't home, we left business cards, put the number on the back of the business card, put it in the door, call me. At that point, that was really the continuing follow-up. We didn't badger these people and go back, 3, 4, 5 times. But we did make a pretty concerted effort. If we saw a Ring camera, if we saw surveillance on the eaves of a house, we would try to find out, where that person was, if we could get phone numbers for them using electrical cut-ins or historical data, things like that. So
once you all collected all of these videos, did you and other members of the Jacksonville Beach Police Department start reviewing video footage?
Correct, yes.
What were you looking for on initial review?
The first 2 houses we went to on America, we're looking for anything, right? We like to capture the incident as it happened. If we could capture, the homicide happening, that would be priority number 1. And that was pretty quick. That was first day. At 4067 America, that's Trent Waterman's house. That's the third one down America. There was a ring camera. I think it's a floodlight captured on the second floor of the house. And when I went into Mr. Waterman's house, he let me access his iPad. We pulled it up on his iPad, and we went through some videos, and there was the first video, right, where there's a truck that passes by that triggers because it's a motion-activated camera, and the video that you'll see is it's a loud gunshot, just one shot, and then there's a few seconds that go by, and off in the distance you can see a stopped car. And I'm just kind of going into it. There's a silhouette that walks in front of the car, starts walking, and then picks up pace. I believe starts running, not at an incredibly sprint, but definitely running, and they're running away from the parked car.
You have a great recall for the names and addresses of these people that correspond to the videos.
This is what I did for an entire month or month.
Right. So you mentioned this one, and this is a particularly important video because it depicts the homicide. Can you generally indicate for the jurors on this map where that resident's home was, where you got the video from?
It's not on my screen.
There we go. Is that on your screen now?
Yeah.
Okay.
So right here we've got this. It's the 4067 America. It's this little squiggly line right here. It's right about right there.
Okay. And you mentioned something about motion activated. Was that a common occurrence when you were collecting video, that most home surveillance equipment is motion activated rather than just continuous?
That's correct. That's a fair statement.
And can you explain to the jury what that meant in terms of your investigative efforts?
Yeah, so it's tough, right? I mean, you're the home surveillance ones that are hardwired, that have hard drives, they have continuous video feed, and those are easy, right? You can pick up hours long worth of data, but when it's motion activated, however long the camera goes for, whether it's 50 feet, 60 feet, it only activates when there's something in front of it. And people can dictate those camera systems how they want to. So if it's a car, if it's a person, that's up to the original homeowner. So it is trying. And sometimes, they're not perfect, right? So that's where we found a lot of videos were only motion captured, which is just a little 30 seconds before, 30 seconds after. And that's how a lot of those were.
And you mentioned specifically this video that captured a portion of the homicide. It did not capture all 4 gunshots, correct?
That's correct. Just the very last one. And it's because I believe it's Mr. Carney, that's the house in between the very last one on America, which this is, I forget his name, but this is Mr. Carney's house. He actually was driving home at the time and pulled into his driveway, said he heard gunshots and went into his driveway, and he is the car that triggered the motion activation. So if he doesn't drive,
but for him
doing it, that motion is not activated and that camera does not exist.
And we would not have a video of a homicide. Okay. Oh, there we go. All right, Corporal Wallace, I'm going to show you what's been marked and entered into evidence as State's Exhibit 91. This is a compilation video of surveillance clips. Once you identified a shooter on foot, what else did you look for that became of evidentiary significance in those videos? You were looking for the victim's vehicle.
Yeah, we're looking
Explain to the jury how your investigation developed from there.
Yeah, so we have a video, and then we're just going backward. We're trying to just figure out the pattern and which route he drove, right? The last known location to where he was from there. So that's the first thing. And now we have, okay, this is definitely looks like a suspect, right? Running away from the scene of a homicide location. So, all right, he's running south towards JTB. That's pretty much an interstate, right? So at that point, he's either.
Yes.
Clarification when he says he, Mr.
Oh.
Garner, Mr. Tenon.
Sorry, the suspect.
You can refer to it as, at the time, you had not identified this figure on screen.
At the time, we had not identified this figure that was running away from the homicide location. So the suspect is going to run into an interstate, and at that point, they either take a right, which is west over the bridge, or they have to go back east, back into Jacksonville Beach. And the first road that they're going to hit is Grande Boulevard. And at that road, they either turn back down Grande and go back towards Jacksonville Drive, or they kind of continue up and they're going to wind up going towards South Beach Parkway. So we're trying to find that figure, right? Either they got picked up or they're still on foot, or they're in hiding.
You had a description in a known vehicle belonging to the victim, in this case, Jared Bridegan, a black Volkswagen Atlas. Did you also look for surveillance clips of Mr. Bridegan's Atlas?
Correct. Yes, that was the route that we established down America and Jacksonville Drive and the 15th Street, Fairway Lane, Seabreeze, and things like that.
In the killers or shooter left behind a tire in a road, and at some point, did somebody at Jacksonville Beach theorize that that tire belonged most likely to a pickup truck, a Ford F-150?
Correct. We went through I don't think I was the one that figured out, or at least believed that it was to a light-size pickup truck or a Ford, but that was deduced through our investigation.
So with that information, what did you start to look for on these video clips?
We looked for other, just other trucks, light-size trucks, but the real, I guess, aha moment was we were sitting in detectives, and we had gathered a lot of video at the time, and we used, we went back, I say like an hour and a half back in time, and one of the detectives who was sitting in the same room as me kind of noticed a vehicle that was looking, or that just acted a little different at the 4067 video, and that's Trent Waterman's video, because not only did we get the shooting video, we went back a couple hours before, a couple hours after. You don't know what you have, right? And so he noticed this vehicle, a truck actually, that was operating unusually in that stretch of Sanctuary Boulevard, and then the truck passes in one direction and then comes back another. And so once we kind of identified that was unusual, we started to really look at that vehicle, and that's kind of what started the blue truck of our investigation.
And that vehicle that you said was driving in an unusual manner before the homicide, what was unusual about the manner it was driving?
It's just kind of, I don't want to say stop for no reason, because there could be a reason that you would slow down in that area, but it wouldn't be because there's a stop sign, a yield sign, or a crosswalk. Like, there's really no reason, unless a squirrel runs in front of your car, to slow down to that length in that area.
And when you say that area, what are you referring to specifically?
Sanctuary Boulevard, going towards the JTB on-ramp. Most of those cars are going to JTB, and they're going to jump on the entrance ramp and head west over the bridge, because you can't go east, right? And so just going slow, the way that vehicle was traveling was unusual, is the term I would use. And then it actually turns back and does a U-turn, which again is pretty unusual. Most vehicles turn right and they go west over the bridge, but this truck did not. And it went back and came back Sanctuary Boulevard, and then kind of paused again, fairly unusually, not at a stop sign, not at a crosswalk. And so that really piqued our interest with this truck.
And that was appeared to be a blue pickup truck.
We determined to be a blue two-tone, top blue, bottom gold pickup truck, older model Ford F-150.
Once you identified that truck, in going through the surveillance video, did you look to see if there were occasions when Jared Bridegan's Atlas and a blue two-tone pickup truck were together on camera?
Yeah, we found that out pretty quickly after we really started looking at the blue truck, where we essentially, once we went back, right? So we started at the homicide location, then went back towards the last known location. And at 25 Fairway, you'll see the blue truck, and that's in front of Jared Bridegan's Atlas. And this is on the way from the last known location to the eventual homicide scene. And then we followed it and obtained other video that also kind of corroborated. Same blue truck, gold, two-tone, blue top, gold bottom, through several residents and home surveillance pre-homicide.
Were you ever able, in your review of the surveillance video collected, to make out a tag number on that vehicle?
No tag number. We went through some pretty extensive efforts, took a trip to Orlando to an FDLE task force for some type of video enhancement. We couldn't find a tag number. We even sent a lot of compilations to the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office. They had some type of video enhancement and things where they could try to zoom and see the tag, but we were unable to capture that.
And at this time, back in February of 2022, did the Jacksonville Beach jurisdiction have license plate readers?
No.
And can you explain to the jury, if they're not familiar, what is a license plate reader?
It's a moment-in-time snapshot that captures alphanumeric characteristics of your license plate and your vehicle. Occasionally, they can go into more in that and use AI to actually figure out what kind of vehicle you have, like a truck or a car or a semi and things like that. But no, we did not have them in 2022. We do have them now, but did not then.
The video we're about to watch, there are several clips that are strung together in time order based on the corrected timestamps. Have you reviewed this video yourself?
Yes.
And there were many, many, many clips collected, and there are many trucks in Jacksonville Beach. A truck's not a unique vehicle.
Right.
As best you can say, the clips we're about to see, were you able to, with some degree of reasonable certainty, identify those as being very similar or consistent with the truck, the suspect truck?
Absolutely. Older model, blue top, gold bottom, two-tone F-150s around that same time. It's, we don't have a ton of those. And so that was with, like you said, pretty much some consistency. Yes, the same truck.
Were any video clips included in this compilation that you could not reasonably say were that truck specifically? Maybe there wasn't enough detail to be viewed that you could see it was two-toned or the size or anything?
I think pretty much everyone in the video, you'll see that it's two-tone.
Okay. All right, Your Honor, mistake published states 91.
Yes. Is it on the juror screen? Can you publish to all?
Yes. Sorry, it's still opening. All right.
My doodle-
Confirm, can
my
everybody
doodle
see
is-
the still shot?
The doodle is still there.
Okay. All right, I may ask you some questions as we view this, Corporal.
Sure.
Beginning with, we see these little thumbtacks here. Do those indicate the addresses of the residences and businesses that you obtained surveillance from?
It's just one, but yes.
Yeah, overall in this
Overall,
video.
correct,
What we're
yes.
looking at right now, you mentioned earlier, you did retrieve surveillance from Taco Lou, located at 1712 Beach Boulevard.
That's correct. I got this one, so yes.
Okay. And I'm going to begin publishing. I'm pausing it at 15 seconds. Corporal, we see a blue Ford truck driving down driving down Beach Boulevard on the Taco Lou camera, and that is one of the surveillance clips you identified as potentially being the suspect truck in this case.
That's correct.
And we see the Google map of the area. We see that south on 15th Street to Fairway Lane. Does that correspond with the map you showed us earlier of where Jared Bridegan would have left Marsh Inlet and gone south?
That's correct.
Down Fairway Lane. And here in this area to the left, is that Cradle Creek area that did
It's
not
that
have
Cradle
working
Creek
cameras?
area. Small little public parking lot, right here, 5-6 spaces. There was a camera right here, again, not operational.
Okay. But there is a little, where you've circled, there's a small parking lot right there.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Are there any homes or businesses there?
No.
What is Cradle Creek?
It's a park. It's just a preserve, walk-through, nature trail. Good way for it.
So the parking lot is at the entrance of the nature trail.
That's correct.
Resuming playing, we see the Fairway Lane on the map. And then we see a pin for 25 Fairway Lane. And at the bottom, we have the timestamp notated. Would that have been the correct timestamp that you verified when you were collecting videos?
Correct.
So this is 6:36 p.m. and the homicide occurred at 7:52.
52, correct.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Sorry.
Yes. The timestamp was 6:34 p.m. and what time was the homicide?
1952, 7:52.
Which is 7:52 p.m. in non-military time. Now we're seeing at America Avenue, 6:40:57 p.m. And Corporal, can you describe what you observed in this video that caused you to collect it and believe it to be of evidentiary value?
Yeah, it's the older model two-tone F-150, blue top, gold bottom.
And moving on the same road, a different camera at 18:41, which would be 6:41 p.m.
Right. Pretty good shot of the two-tone there.
And I paused it here at 2 minutes in, and we can see a two-toned blue pickup truck. Resuming playing, we're at 2743 America Avenue. And this Nest camera indicates this is 6:41:15 p.m. And again, Corporal, are we seeing that blue two-tone truck?
Blue two-tone truck.
And we see here 6:41:47 p.m. And this is a house on America Avenue.
This was
Is that correct?
Kelly Slayman's house, that's correct.
Okay. And here, Corporal, do we see a two-toned truck, passing through on this video?
Blue top, gold bottom.
I want to show that again with the
Okay.
time bar out of the way. Resuming playing. And at the bottom, we see in the right-hand corner, actual time and a timestamp. Is that one of those examples of you all correcting to make sure the time is accurate for these videos?
Correct. This was one of those home surveillance hard drive.
Resuming playing, we're going south on America Avenue. And then we see Sanctuary Boulevard. Here, I'm going to pause briefly. Before we get to the video, can you indicate for the jurors where the homicide scene was, if we're looking at the map on this video?
So it's back up in this area. This Sanctuary Wishbones, it's one-way traffic, so I'm just going to mark on it again.
Sure.
It's one way here, and then this is also one way in that direction.
And if you exit onto, this is J. Turner Butler down here?
That's correct, and that's what I was saying earlier, is that you would head west onto JTB. You can't, unfortunately, you can't see it based on this picture, but you can kind of deduce based off of the traffic signals on the roadway, like you can only turn west. You can't go back and turn east. So again, doing a U-turn here, not unheard of, but unusual.
Okay. And this 4067 America Avenue, is that the video that you were discussing earlier was significant because it actually captured the homicide?
That's correct. That's Trent Waterman's house.
So this ring footage is dated 1843, which would be 6:43 p.m.
This is what I was, sorry.
Go ahead.
This is what I was talking about earlier. Just pretty unusual for that truck. And you could, again, see the characteristics of it right there. To slow down in that location, again, could there be a something in the road or, a reason to slow down. I'm sure there could be, but it's just unusual to report it.
I'm going to back it up 10 seconds, 20 seconds actually. So this video is not continuous, it skips. Was that how you collected it?
Correct.
And is that because of what we discussed earlier, that if you have motion down here, people coming out, motion activates it?
That's correct. I think you'll see Mr. Waterman is moving or doing something. I think he has a dolly in this video, but he's moving back and forth in the camera. It's detecting motion. So that's
So when the screen says 10 seconds later, that means there is no corresponding video for that time frame because there's no motion down here activating the camera.
That's correct.
We do see that truck slowing down.
Right.
And
Almost comes to a stop, it looks like.
where it slowed down, this area here, is this where the homicide occurred?
Yes.
And 6:43 is about an hour and 10 minutes prior to the homicide.
Right.
And we see that truck again, and we see the brake lights coming on again.
Yes, correct. Now, there is a stop sign, but it's much further.
So there's no
north.
stop sign right there where it's brake
Not
lights.
right there. Yeah, you'll see, you kind of go up, we're still going up, still going up. Actually, I take that back. I'm not sure if there's a stop sign here at this location. But again, this is the intersection where one would slow down to turn left, right.
Understood. Then we have 3940 Grande Boulevard. This is at 6:44 p.m.
Right.
And we see that two-toned vehicle, and in this shot, we can see a very good shot into the bed of that vehicle.
Correct.
And it appears to be an object in the bed of that vehicle.
There is definitely an object in the bed of that truck.
And in this video on Grande Boulevard at 6:45 prior to the homicide, the vehicle, would you say, appears to be driving a reasonable speed for the neighborhood?
It seems fine.
Right, it's not speeding.
No, not speeding, that's reasonable speed.
Continuing publishing. I should have asked this earlier, but this map is oriented north to south, east to west. So whatever cardinal direction it's moving is correct.
Correct, it's moving north.
Jacksonville Drive runs east and west, and South Beach runs north to south.
That's correct.
And we have a video here from Ocean K at 6:44 p.m. What is Ocean K?
It's a subdivision in South Jacks Beach.
We see a vehicle, that two-tone truck again.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are at 882 13th Avenue. You had mentioned earlier expanding your search to 9th Street and 13th Street. And then here we also see that the start time, the timestamp has been corrected.
Correct.
And we saw that two-tone truck with another vehicle passing behind it. And 901 7th Street South. Actual time 1850, which would be 6:50 p.m., correct?
That's correct.
We see that. You see that truck going by again. Again, it appears when you watch it, there's something in the bed of that truck.
Correct.
The jury will obviously have this in the jury room with them. This is on Windows Media Player. If you pause it and hit key E, you can go frame by frame. And this is Shetter Avenue.
Heading towards the police department.
Okay. You mentioned earlier builder's choice and also a refrigeration.
Correct. Jack's Refrigeration was back on 9th Street. This is builder's choice in public storage.
What I wanted to ask was the video that we're seeing on the map that was more south would it be fair to say mostly residential cameras?
Yes.
And then now here we're further north, we're starting to get into more
Commercial properties.
commercial properties. So in the area where the homicide occurred, are there very many businesses or commercial properties?
No, it's pretty much all residential.
And here we are showing the approximate actual corrected time is 6:49 p.m. and we can see the blue two-tone truck. And you made attempts on this video in particular to see if you could get a tag.
This one in the 882 13th that you saw a couple of minutes ago.
You were unable to make out a tag number on this.
That's correct.
And we're seeing right here on Penman Road and Shutter, this is the Jacksonville Beach Police Station.
Correct.
You all obviously have surveillance. So we see here at 6:52 that two-tone truck driving past the police station. And again, over here, do we see that two-tone truck?
Blue top, gold bottom.
This road here that this truck is traveling on, is that Shetter Avenue?
That is Shetter Avenue.
If you keep driving Shetter Avenue west, what do you get to eventually?
You're going to run into Pablo Hamlet. It's an assisted living facility.
And is that kind of the dead end of Shetter Avenue?
That is the dead end of Shetter Avenue.
So here we see indicated the camera for Pablo Hamlet, that assisted living facility you spoke about. What is this property, if you come back down here, what is this property here?
That's part of the assisted living facility. It's just a four-story building. Just one solid address.
And to get to this property, is this how you would come in through Shetter?
That's the only way you can get there.
So we see here from this camera angle, and this is a video with an incorrect timestamp. Actual time, 6:53:16 p.m. So we're still about an hour ahead of the homicide. In this video, we see that two-tone truck backing up. And right here, just to orient the jury, this camera, that assisted living facility that I just circled in the last frame, it's behind us, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then where is Shetter, if we're looking at this?
Shetter is right here. Like there's a little, I guess, cul-de-sac dead end that kind of circles around right here. But Shetter is back up this way. This is all Pablo Hamlet parking lot.
What is here? What is this way on this side of
That's the backside of Pablo Hamlet.
And if you keep going out Shetter, what property is located here in between? Hold on.
Sorry.
I don't want to talk over you because Miss Melanie, our court reporter, is going to give me the stink eye if I keep doing that.
Sure.
In between this assisted living facility and Shutter Avenue, is there another property right here?
Discovery School.
The Discovery School. And can you explain to the jury what the Pablo Hamlet surveillance is going to show? There's quite a bit of time this truck is sitting here, correct?
Yeah, so we watched it, we watched this video a lot to see if we could see someone walking away from it to it. But it's just backed in, sitting there in the back of a cul-de-sac. Like it's, I don't want to say a parking area, but vehicles have parked there and do park there. But backing in that U-shaped area is
How long
classified
approximately,
unusual.
if you can recall, about how long does this truck sit here?
20, 30 minutes?
So we've included the entirety of the 23 minutes it's sitting here. I'm going to kind of move it along if I can.
Yeah.
So the entirety of the time of this 23 minutes, this truck remains here, and we can tell that because its headlight is still visible, correct?
The back taillight, actually.
Taillight.
Yeah.
So we see at some point during the video that the taillight appears to go dim.
Correct.
During this 23 minutes, we're going to see other vehicles and people coming back into that living facility. Is that correct?
Correct.
Right here, though, this is just like a cul-de-sac cut-in. There's no apartments here. There's no businesses.
No, it's just a cul-de-sac.
There's no formal
turnaround.
parking spots drawn.
I don't think so.
And then we see headlights or taillights coming back on. And then they dim again. You can see a little cat through the parking lot. I try to move this along. I don't want everyone just sitting here while this truck is sitting here. Obviously, the jury can take it back in the jury room and watch it in its. I see the taillights have come back on. Too far. And they are dimming, and then we can see that the truck pulls out at the actual corrected time of 7:12 p.m., correct?
Correct.
So the map we discussed earlier, that Pablo Hamlet at Shetter, if you go down 15th, you hit the Discovery School, and then right next to the Discovery School is going to be 1511 Marsh Inlet, the home of Mr. Gardner and Ms. Fernandez. And as you mentioned, going down 15th Street, you've got Cradle Creek down here with no cameras, and then the golf course with no cameras. The next available footage is going to be this camera we looked at previously on Fairway Lane.
25 Fairway, correct.
25 Fairway Lane. So there was no available footage from that point that truck left Pablo Hamlet until this camera at 25 Fairway Lane. Fairway Lane.
That's correct.
So here we have at 7:47, we see that truck.
Mm-hmm.
And then, is this one of those videos you discussed where we actually see the truck followed by that black Volkswagen Atlas?
Correct.
And Corporal, for the next few minutes of surveillance, we're going to see that truck and then the victim's vehicle, and then we're going to see the homicide video, correct?
Correct.
There's 7:50 p.m. There's that truck. Again, the truck. And this time, does he appear to be moving at a higher rate of speed than the previous videos?
Definitely following pretty closely behind the white pickup truck.
And we are approximately 1 minute and 15 seconds from the homicide. And we are seeing what appears to be the Volkswagen Atlas. So it's a couple seconds behind that truck.
Correct.
(7:25 p.m.) We have that Nest camera. We see a white truck. We see that two-tone truck. And then we're going to see the victim's Atlas passing by as well. at 7:51:11, that 2-ton truck is going by, fair to say, at a decently high rate of speed for the area?
I would say over the speed limit.
Okay. And then we have the victim's vehicle behind. Your sound's not on? Let's see. Sure this is on. There we go. So, Corporal, we see a black placard sign. Was there audio of gunshots collected from other ring cameras in the area that did not show the homicide?
Sanctuary Way South, correct.
Okay. So we're going to hear 3 shots from a different camera and then see the homicide on the 4th shot. Is that right?
That's correct.
So 7:51:11 is the suspect vehicle. (7:51:32). So the truck is about 20 seconds ahead of victim's vehicle, give or take. And we see that figure you described walking and then running out of frame.
Correct.
And Corporal, is that the video that you described earlier showing the figure that eventually was identified as the suspect in this case, Henry Tenon?
Correct.
After Henry Tenon was identified, did you go back and look for a figure on foot that matched his description and matched the homicide timeline?
Yes.
All right, we see Grande Boulevard, and we saw this same view earlier with the boat when we could see that tire in the back of the vehicle. So we're now at 7:53:40 p.m., and we appear to see no object in the back of that truck now.
Correct.
And would you say, earlier I asked you, it appeared to be driving at a normal rate of speed. Would you say that that vehicle is now traveling at an excessive rate of speed in the neighborhood?
Definitely above the speed limit.
Following receiving this video and seeing that the shooter was on foot and not in a vehicle, and the identification of Henry Tenon, did you all look for video surveillance showing a truck and a shooter separated from each other? A vehicle leaving the scene as well as an individual on foot leaving a scene?
Like 2 different times, yes.
And what does that indicate to you?
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question.
Well, the timing is different. So we saw the vehicle go by, and we're going to see someone go by on foot. Is
Correct.
common sense?
The vehicle is gone.
Right.
And the this suspect is just walking, away from the homicide scene.
Okay, so the suspect walking is not in the truck.
Yes.
We see here a figure on foot. We see some minutes later, after we watch that truck speed down Grande, we see this figure on foot following a few minutes behind. And here we see that Ocean Case surveillance showing a truck, and then 18 minutes, 36 seconds later, that same camera picks up that figure on foot, correct?
Correct.
I see a timestamp for 7:50, which is about 8 minutes after the homicide, and we see that truck backing back into that same cul-de-sac that it was in earlier. And then appears to turn. Were you all able to obtain footage or find that blue truck between Ocean Cay and Pablo Hamlet? Hang on, let me pause this.
Yeah. You talking after the? I don't remember. Again, I got promoted in April, so I went away from investigations, and people kind of took up what I was doing.
So we see here an hour and 43 seconds since Ocean Cay, the police department surveillance picks up that figure on foot again, correct?
Correct. Correct.
Here in another angle from the police station surveillance, we see that same figure walking. And again, is this Cheddar Avenue?
Cheddar.
And is
Found
this
on Cheddar. Sorry.
And does this lead all the way back to that dead-end cul-de-sac at Pablo Hamlet?
It does.
Corporal Wallace, other than collecting and reviewing the surveillance video to assist the detectives in this case, you didn't participate in any witness interviews and ongoing investigation, did you?
I think I assisted Detective Lamont with an interview of Miss Curry. And then I think that was it.
You were assisting in mainly in this capacity with the surveillance, and you did not participate in the arrests of Mr. Fernandez, Ms. Gardner, or Mr. Tenon.
That's correct.
Give me just one moment.
Yes.
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, let me see the lawyers at sidebar without the court reporter. So the jury, we've been going for about an hour and 45 minutes, so I'm going to take a 15-minute break, and we will start back. It'll take you some time to get back there at 11:05, okay? So leave your notepads on your chair, and you can take your mid-morning break.